All right, welcome to part two of the Cody Bellinger MLB free agent sweepstakes. All right, I feel like you can't even see me. Hold on a second. This has been nudged down. I should put this more forward. Because really, you can't see anything that's on this board, can you? All right, we started off with the San Francisco Giants, and then I moved to the Boston Red Sox, and then I moved to the New York Mets. The theme with Cody Bellinger is that, well, first of all, every player, every team, every organization, excuse me, if they're looking to improve, they have every intention to improve, they have the resources to make it happen, to execute a maneuver of improvement, at least theoretically, by picking somebody and signing them, you know, acquiring them. They have the money to do so. They have the, you know, roster opening. So yeah, I forgot my point. That happens from time to time. We started with the San Francisco Giants, we moved to the Boston Red Sox, and we went to the New York Mets. That's how I started. Oh, I think I had to do. I lost my point because I think the point I was trying to make was that Bellinger has value because of or teams that are able to make improvements to their roster, that and they by doing that they look at who's available, and with the services of Cody Bellinger being there and open and available, it's a big deal because he's at the right age. He has established himself or re-established himself as a great player or a very good player, and teams need first basemen, they need good ball players, they need outfielders, and it's very rare to have that first base outfield gold glove caliber mix. Okay? So that's why I think that if Boston signed him, man, that would be, to me, a power move by both team and organization. And if he goes there and he hits 300 or close to it for those like 3 years that I think he can sign there, maybe throw in a fourth year player option. I think sign for 3 guaranteed, throw in a fourth year that is like, I'd say a raise. I'd say a raise over or the same contract, the same salary for that fourth year. Possibly he'd be making for the first 3 on average. I'd say a player option for Bellinger. Whatever. I'm negotiating for him, but I'm just saying. I'm just trying to do their finances in some way or another. But I think that could be a good mix because he can go there, hit 300, drive in 90 something again, pretty much do what he's been doing, or at least do what he did a couple of years ago with the Cubs. It was 2023 season. But regardless, what I'm saying is hit 20 homers, 20 plus homers, drive in 90 plus. You do that in Boston and put up. Most people hit for good batting averages there. It just feel like it's a thing. Your batting average, I believe, will increase when you go to Boston. And with them needing help, they score runs, but they can use some help in the rushing scoring position department, which Bellinger's proven to be on the sneak very good at. And last year he batted 348 in that position. He's a good fit for Boston. Mets good fit because of the first base opening possibility, and even if he did come back, he would be perfect to play center field. So if whatever it is, and if which doesn't look like Pete would come back, he can then play first or center or right, whatever they decide to do. But Bellinger has a spot with the Mets as well, and the Mets do have some money coming off the books, and they're going to be active, improving their team without question, right? Giants, I mean, it's tough because they have a lot of big contracts, but they're 14th even with those contracts and payroll, and they would be over 200. I don't think they have any problem getting to over $200 million in your payroll. I don't think the fans would care. I don't think the radio hosts would care. I don't think the employees of the team would care. I don't think anybody would care, the community or whatever the hell would care that the Giants would be spending more money to win because they want to bring back a championship to San Francisco, where they won 3 in 6 seasons, 2010, 12, and 14, right? They won. I have to think back on who they beat. 2010, was it not the Texas Rangers? 2012, was it the Detroit Tigers? 2014, it was the Kansas City Royals. The Giants, they want to return, and again, I can see them even taking on more contract to get up to over 200 million. Although they might go a little up, not so much. Ramos is in arbitration. That's not going to affect their payroll too much. It's not going to move it too much, considering who they have coming off free agency. I mean Flores, but that can replace. Point is, I'm going to move on now to the 14 on this. I'm going to randomize it, and I'm going to go. Now I'm going to start with a splash. I'm going to start with a splash, and I'm going to tell you guys that I think there's a possibility that he can sign, real dark horse candidate, but to sign with the Washington Nationals. Now you might say, Washington Nationals. Cody Bellinger is going to sign with the Washington Nationals? But hear me out. Cody Bellinger. The payroll for the Nationals is they're 24th at $107 million. The Nationals, this is not really too. You might think this is familiar with them, but they've in the past been higher up on the list of payroll, where they've had a lot of big contracts on the payroll. In fact, they were sitting more towards the teens when it came to payroll. I'm pretty sure. Point is, or same point, same breath, let's say, is that they've also been in the running for some free agents. And they were, I believe, a dark horse candidate for Pete Alonso last year. Some person predicted, I think, that too. But to my knowledge, they were also in the running for them. The Nationals, I think, are ready to turn this thing around and get back into this ship of more consistency. They have a young lineup, a lineup that actually produces runs, believe it or not. I mean, they were 66 and 96, one of the worst teams in baseball. But as the worst team in baseball, well, one of the worst, second or third worst, their runs a game was 20th overall, and their batting average is 21st. So they were still better than 9 to 10 teams are hitting. It wasn't so much that, so much as it was their pitching, where they're 29th in runs a game, 29th in runs allowed per game at 5.55. That's second to last. And hits per 9, they were also 29th, 9.4. So pitching really does them in. They got a pitching rotation of Trevor Williams, Jake Irvin, Mitchell Parker, Mackenzie Gore, Brad Lord, Michael Soroka, I think is a free agent now, Cade Cavalli, Andrew Alvarez. This is an up-and-coming pitching rotation, young starting rotation. Mackenzie Gore is the cream of the crop. They're saying he's going to get traded. They should try to keep him. But especially to be the horse amongst all these guys who didn't have very good years last year, but 2 years ago, they stood out more than they did last year. They stood out for being good as opposed to being bad, more so than not 2 years ago compared to last. The Nationals have some good young talent. I think a team where the point now, the main point is that the Nationals to me are a team that can give Bellinger the contract he really wants. I should have just came out with that. I think the Nationals are an organization that are in line to be able to pay a guy like Bellinger, and I think would welcome or need or could use the talent and put him into their lineup and make him their first baseman, because impossible outfielder. Although, I mean, James Wood has left field down pat. You would think Jacob Young, who's a Gold Glove center fielder, that he win. He's playing center. Dalen Lyle, who's becoming one of my favorite, more of my that's my guys. Dalen Lyle, I think he's actually the most recent. He's been nominated now for That's My Guy, and is real close to making it. Dalen Lyle, he's only 22 years old. He stood out to me. No one really talking about. I'm like, who is this guy? I don't follow the minors much at all, but when these guys sometimes come out of nowhere, and it seems like the Nationals are a team where that happens. When Juan Soto, I'm not saying this guy's Juan Soto, but when Juan Soto came up, again, I was oblivious to the minor league rankings. It's like, who is this guy? Burst onto the scene, and it was like instantly overnight he became a superstar. Dalen Lyle, I'm not saying to become a superstar. By no means am I saying that, but point is, he popped up and just came out and hit 299. 9 homers, 41 RBIs, so he's got to be a lock. or at least more than like close to a lock for the Nationals. Then you got Dylan Cruz. He's 23, first like top 5 pick, right? First overall pick maybe in his draft. Star from LSU. He's coming on slowly. He batted 208 last year. 10 homers, 27 RBIs. All right. Decent counting stats. I don't know how many games he played. I don't have it here. I didn't write it down. But, you know, they have a kind of a logjam here. Robert Hassel, who was another prize prospect, was paired with James Wood and C.J. Abrams, in fact. And Mackenzie Gore and somebody else, a pitcher, Susano, so I forgot his name. I forgot exactly. Shit. And there's maybe one more. Oh, and Luke Voigt, believe it or not. Or was it Eric? No, it was Luke Voigt. Was traded from the Padres to from the Nationals. No, from the Padres to the Nationals for Juan Soto. Robert Hassel is one of those guys. 223, 3 homers, 18 RBIs. So they got a logjam in the outfield. I don't think Bellinger's going to be put there to maybe play their spots, but he could be a rotation of a DH, maintain his legs for sure. Even he's still only 30. I'm talking about Bellinger, but it's a good spot for him to maybe rotate between DH, outfield, and first base for sure, because they had Josh Bell and Nathaniel Lowe as their interchangeable first base DH combination last year, which was the Nationals are pretty good at signing guys for these prove-it deals. It's been happening. But they got both of those guys, and Josh Bell hung around all year, had 22 homers, 63 RBIs, 239 batting average. Nathaniel Lowe got designated for assignment, wound up with the Red Sox. Batted 216, 16 homers, 68 RBIs with the Nationals. He batted 280 with the Red Sox. Now, when I say that confidently because I'm like, shit, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to say confidently. He batted 280 because I don't have confirmation. I'm pretty sure he batted 280. I want to stop saying I'm pretty sure or I'm not mistaken. I'd rather just tell you straight out, but I don't have the notes in front of me. But he batted 280 for the Red Sox last year, Nathaniel Lowe. There's a spot there. I can see Bellinger going there. Getting more kind of like how the Red Sox here, but I'd see him getting his 5 to 6 years here. Or definite getting his 5 years with the Nationals. They're ready to spend it. They're ready to improve. New regime there. Mike Rizzo's not there who got a bobblehead. Look, got a bobblehead and a year later he's gone. Not saying that's happened to Tristan Casas. Holy shit, actually Mike, because I mentioned he got a bobblehead. Who knows? Although I think the bobblehead was 2 years ago, so he's still in the window though. Mike Rizzo's not there, and Dave Martinez. They both got fired. 2 guys you would think the Nationals would never fire, considering what they did together and when the Nationals were, the consistency and all that. But lately they haven't been able to really show any improvement. I think for the 2 years, 3 years. So I guess it was time. I can see Bellinger going there and making an improvement, and certainly just fitting in with the Nationals. Angels. We're going to move on to the Angels. How long is this video so far? 13 minutes and 24 seconds. 1, 2, 4, 3, but in different box. All right. Los Angeles Angels, 72 and 90. They're 13th in payroll, the Angels were. 13th. That's quiet, right? But then again, it's not so much because 13th in payroll, but you want to know where most of their money is going? Mike Trout is making $37.1 million a year. Anthony Rendon, man, he was good. I don't know what the heck's happening. $38.6 million a year. He's making more than Mike Trout, Anthony Rendon. If somebody's new to baseball, or not even new, most people forgot about this guy. Let's just say that. Next year is the last year of his deal. Please just come back and just play. Please, for God's sakes. Kikuchi, get healthy, please. Rendon, or whatever's going on, come back, play, do well, and come back and be consistent for the next 2-3 years. We need these guys in the league. I hate to see a big deal like that, and then for him to not even play, and then the team that's paying him don't even get to, not enjoy him, but see the fruits of their labor, or to see their investment work out. Whatever the hell. I hate when shit like that happens. Kikuchi, $23 million a year, $21.23 million a year, and then Soler's making $16. Chris Taylor's on a $12 million. Robert Stevenson, believe it or not, is making around $11 million a year quietly. Big free agent signing for the bullpen. That's a sign that they're looking to compete and looking to win. You don't sign a reliever for 3 years and $33 million, who just became a decent reliever because he converted from a starter, Robert Stevenson, coming up with the Cincinnati Reds, and became a reliever on the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm not sure if he pitched somewhere. I think maybe with the Pirates. I'm bugging out if I'm wrong. But Robert Stevenson, in fact, I tied in fantasy once. I picked up Robert Stevenson for the purpose of getting a hold. Because when you play categories in fantasy sports and fantasy baseball, there's a hold category. I picked them up for the purpose of doing it, and for some reason, I did a Devin move at the very end. I don't overthought it. Paralysis by analysis, took him out. He gets to save. He gets to hold, and I would have won that week, but instead it ended in a tie, and the person had a tiebreaker over me, I believe, or there was some weird tiebreaker, and I didn't get in, and long story short, it was like getting into the championship. So whatever. Robert Stevenson, there's a backstory there with you, buddy. But anyway, Angels, that won't bother me for a little bit. Shit. Angels, Robert, with that signing has proven that they're trying to obviously win. That payroll has proven that they're obviously trying to win, but it just hasn't quite been put together. And Ron Washington, I don't know what happened. I hope he's all right. Something with his health. I hope he gets healthy. It was nice to see him with the Angels as their manager. He had to step away, but they wind up at 72-90, and they're looking to improve. They need Trout. Yeah, Trout. They need him healthy. They need Rendon healthy. They need Taylor to just show up and kind of go back to his Dodgers early Dodgers form. I mean, Nolan Shanuel, do I say that correctly? He's proven to be pretty good sneaky player. I think this guy's going to have a pretty good year next year. 264, 12 homers, 53 RBIs. Young first baseman. I think that is their first baseman. Joe Adell and Taylor Ward. 37 homers, 98 RBIs for Joe Adell. 36 homers, 103 RBIs for Taylor Ward. Both of these guys are heading to arbitration. I think most likely they're going to stick there. Odell playing center and right, and Taylor Ward playing left. So that, to me, there's an opening there for Bellinger to slide into one of those spots, because if the Angels are serious about winning, you need to add, even though it might come at a high cost, and you're going to be pushing $200 million if you do it, but if you really got to do it, Bellinger's a good spot, a good free agent signing, because I think that he can, because the Angels have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys also in the outfield. It's clear and obvious that they need to solidify one of those spots. Jorge Soler is making $16 million. He's most likely going to be playing DH. What are you going to do with this contract? You're not going to release him. What are you going to waste that money and waste a year? Let him play. They're going to play him at DH most likely. There's a spot in the outfield for him, for Bellinger. There's some opportunity. I think they'd make it work no matter what, to add a player of Bellinger's ability. So I think the Angels are a landing spot possibly. Okay, so Nationals, Angels, Red Sox we talked about. We talked about the Mets. We talked about San Francisco. Now let's talk about the Houston Astros. We're going to get to these next two teams. I'll throw in 2 quick ones, and those are real key quick. The Houston Astros are another team I believe that he can sign with. Simply as this, all right? I'm not going to go too heavy on this, because a lot of the same reasons I gave for one team could also maybe apply for another team. But for the Astros, the main point is this, right? They went 87-75 last year. Quietly, the Astros did. Close to making the playoffs. First time missing it, right? In a while, is that? Last year runs a game, they were 21st. They won 87 games, and they were 21st in runs a game. Also, OPS plus, they were 17th. They had a 97 OPS plus. OPS plus, as simple as this. I've said it in the past. I'll probably say it 100 times before, and I'll say it 100 times going forward. OPS plus is, because it helps me as well, is an average player, a player that has an average rating or the most average rating of an OPS plus is 100. Is noted as 100. Anything below 100 is considered below average. If 100 is the average, then any number below 100 is below average. Any number above 100 is above average. The higher above average, the greater you are, apparently, right? The team overall, because they measured overall, the Astros had a 97 OPS plus overall. And they won 87 games. And they didn't score many runs. So the thing is, how did they win? They got lucky or they're either really good in other categories, right? They're in a weird spot, the Astros. They're in a spot where it's like, which direction do they want to go? But then again, as I'm saying that, they took on, I think this determines it right here. You wouldn't trade for Carlos Correa and take on his long-term contract if you weren't serious about continuing to compete and or win a championship, pursue a championship. Why don't I have the contract here in front of me? I'm not sure why. Usually I'll put that, but Correa has a good amount of years left on his deal. So they wouldn't, right? Is that not true? Shit. Correa basically has money left on his contract and a high price too. So they obviously looking to compete. Along with the likes of Jose Altuve, who's still there for a little bit, right? Jose Altuve is there till 2029. He has a 5-year, $125 million contract. And Christian Walker is making $20 million a year. I think next year, his last year with the team. Or is that in 2 seasons? Basically, they have some contract tied up, and they're in a weird spot because they're looking. I think that they're always going to be a franchise that is not going to not compete. They're going to try to do what they can to be competitive. So I say they're in a weird spot, but maybe with the Astros, you can always think of them as a team that's always going to be trying to retinker or retool if it starts to show that they need to. So I think where Kyle Tucker was with the Astros and they wound up trading him to the Cubs, which comes full circle here, actually makes that trade by the Astros trading Kyle Tucker to the Cubs, that made Cody Bellinger expendable because he was a member of the Cubs. That made him an expendable Cub, who then the Cubs traded him to the Yankees, and he, for the Yankees, does this great year and now is earning an opportunity to get to be a big splash, and will be a big splash. So see how that all comes together. But the Astros now, they don't have Kyle Tucker clearly, even though Kyle Tucker, maybe he returns back to the Astros if they're willing to say, all right, we're going to, we traded you because we couldn't afford you, but I think now you're a free agent, we can get you. I think we thought we're going to think twice about it. Look at that. What is it? A well strikes twice? What's that? Lightning strike twice? No, that's not it. Something about whatever it is, but an opportunity comes back again to rewrite your wrong, or maybe you don't want him. Maybe the Astros don't want Kyle Tucker. The point is, he's a free agent, and the Astros do need center backs. And if they don't want Tucker, the point what I'm making here is that maybe Bellinger would be somebody. Maybe Bellinger will come in a tick cheaper than Kyle Tucker. And Bellinger does play first, like I keep reiterating. Not that Tucker can't, but Bellinger is probably more of an elite center fielder or elite outfielder. Although Kyle Tucker is very good, Bellinger is more elite than we probably give him credit for. You can't play all 3 outfield positions and not be elite at it. So with the Astros needing to score some runs, and also not being very good not also being very good in situations where they need to score runs, like because they were 23rd in runners in scoring position, they had a 245 batting average, and as I mentioned, Bellinger is very good at it in those spots. Bellinger has a home over here in Houston too if they're willing to go that route. Valdez is coming off. He's becoming a free agent. Caratini's a free agent. I'm pretty sure they can fill that spot. No offense to Caratini, even though he played pretty well there last year. Isaac Paredes is due for arbitration. I think they're going to keep him. And then Luis Garcia and Steve Okert. Okert is due for a raise. Steve Okert has actually had a very quietly good season, a reliever last year, big lefty. Brian King had a very good season there, lefty, but Okert's due for a raise. Brian Abreu's is going to arbitration. He's going to get a raise. Jeremy Pena is going to arbitration. He's going to get a raise for the $4.1 million he made last year. And Yordan Alvarez and Christian Javier are also getting raises because due to their already signed contracts. So their payroll is going to go up a bit, but I think the Astros are a team that maybe Bellinger might consider going to, and I can see him having a really good popping that ball over that. The ball will carry there. You know, the weather there is nice, I feel, for a lefty in particular, or it's good for any side of the plate because it's a good hitting ballpark with the short porches, basically really short and left, and right field's a good spot to put it out. Bellinger would thrive, I think, could thrive as a Houston Astro. So the last team, this video is 25 minutes. This is an hour of talk. Who cares how long it is? I'm just like, when you talk a lot, you start to lose yourself a second, and then I have to regain myself, and then I'm picturing you guys watching me and going, what is this guy saying? And the last team on this list, and the team that I think should sign him, strongly I think that should sign him, I feel really good about it. This is my pick. This more so, this is like close to my prediction. Shit, I should end it here. That's 26 minutes. My prediction's coming next. I can't get into it now. Did I already say it here? I gotta get it out of here. Because then I also gotta give it to two other teams right after that. Alright. No. I can't do that to you. Or can I? I'm gonna come back with a third video. Because part 3 needs to be done. I can't talk about it, then add the two other teams. I'm already at 27 minutes. I'll be back.